Listen, I got a lot of notes. I'm not sure if we're going to go through all the notes, but I'm feeling like maybe quite possibly we will. Because, honey, a shit show, wasn't it? I am your girl, Talisa Rae. What's up? How you doing? Ray of Sunshines. We are reviewing Married at First Sight, season number 9. Episode number 14, The Forever Decision. And if we're going to be honest, I just want to hurry up and get to next week so that I can see the reunion. Let's talk about Deanna and Greg. Now, we got a snippet of Greg's answer, which we know was yes. Deanna had said that she felt that this was more meaningful than the actual wedding day, and I'm going to have to agree with her wholeheartedly, because this isn't someone making a decision for you and matching you based on compatibility and what the numbers and the psychological tests and the questions that you answered. No, this is you making a decision your own self. So for all of them, I feel like this decision was way more than the decision to even do Married at First Sight, to even say I'm gonna marry you blindly. She talks about how he overthinks, but as she's sitting in that car and she's talking, I don't have what she said, but whatever it was, I was thinking to myself, you overthink too. You don't relax and let things go. Actually, it wasn't right here that I said that, but I did say it, and I'll tell you where in a second. And you know, Greg holding fast, steadfast to his faith, is saying, you know what? I trust God. I'm nervous, but I trust God. Whatever the answer is, I trust God. I know that it's the right answer. I like that about him, his steadfast belief, his unwavering belief that the right decision, whatever God would have said, was great. Greg enters first. He's very fidgety, very nervous. Then Deanna enters. And I find it odd that they don't like greet each other. Like, you just walk past and sit down like you were together, sleeping in the same bed, eating together, spending days together, weekends together, at least 8 weekends together. You telling me you don't get up and hug your wife, your husband, you don't cordially, warmly greet them? Do they tell them not to? Because I just felt that. I just felt it odd to me. I was so glad to see Dr. Pepper. Y'all don't understand how I drink Dr. Pepper, don't you know? Made me happy when I seen her, and just really wished that there was more of her throughout the episode. That one little episode of her was not enough for my little spirit. Like, she has a handle on it better than anybody else. And she asked, well, how are you guys feeling? Deanna's all like, it was an adventure, 8 weeks of an adventure. Pastor Cal asked Deanna about her opening up more emotionally, and this is where I said that she overthinks things. Because she said that Greg sometimes wants her to be in the moment, in the emotional moment, and to answer immediately. And she needs time to process it, to think about it before she could actually answer. And so I know that, you know what, sometimes saying an answer right off the top, right raw, is not the right thing to do. But sometimes it is. Sometimes whatever that gut reaction is the truth. Y'all know when y'all be pissed off and you tell somebody to go fuck themselves, it be how you feel in the moment. And you do want to regret it. You do pull it back. You do regret it. But also when you're in the middle of making love and that shit feels so good and you say, oh my God, it's so good. You mean every bit of that. It's in the moment. Even when you don't want to have those kind of emotions with the person. Y'all better understand what I'm telling you. So sometimes that gut reaction, her saying to him how she feels immediately without processing and thinking about it, would have helped. She's just as much as an overthinker as he is, and I didn't realize that until this moment. I didn't say that before, did I? Greg said that he learned how to be more patient and understanding of Deanna's needs. Deanna has said that she has been working on her emotional intimacy, trying to be more vulnerable and open up, and that she wanted to get to know him as a person. That's how come they did not have sex. Originally, she didn't want to be stigmatized like Amber. She didn't want it to cloud her judgment. So I get all of that. I get it. But once you said Pandora's box is open, you were supposed to open open. Start trusting and letting him in. So it's decision time, and they asked Greg first. And he said that his expectation was that she would become more vulnerable and be committed to the process, and that he was afraid that it would get stagnant, that they wouldn't grow, that she would no longer continue to progress on this journey, right, of being open, you know, and sharing. But that he has seen much growth in her in the past 8 weeks, and because of that, my answer is yes. Now, Greg, we knew you was gonna say yes. You could have just said yes, but they asked you to give a whole little blurb. We get it. You could have walked in the door and been like, yes, I say yes. God put you here for me. Yes. We would have knew that that was what it was. Okay, like nobody was expecting a different answer from Greg. So, you know, Deanna's stalling for time, but you know that's just a tactic, right? That's just a tactic. It was all smoke and mirrors. And she eventually said yes. I didn't even write down why she said yes. Pastor Cal asked her the big question, do you feel like you are growing in love with Greg? She said, well, I'm not in love with him right now, but I do feel like I am growing in love with him. That we are going to get there eventually. Now, Deanna, listen. You could have gave that man that answer last week. You could have eased his spirit last week by saying, no, I don't love you. I'm not in love with you yet, but I see us making great headway, great strides to being in love. Like, she played too much. She feels like when they pop that bubbly, she's all like, I feel like I met my match. And he feels honored and blessed that they chose her, that they are perfect for each other. Okay, was that a good decision? Y'all let me know down below in the comments if you think that that was a good decision for them. My answer is yes. I think that they were matched together perfectly. He is patient enough. She's a little crazy with her emotions, but I feel like over time it's gonna grow. Let's talk about Iris and Keith. So when they go to Iris is like, she feels like they are in a good place emotionally. They know one another, they understand one another, and they care about one another. So she's feeling really good about the decision that she's going to make. And we know that her decision from day one has been yes. That has not wavered. It is unwavering. She believes that this was what it was supposed to be. That's where she is. She has always been. That has not changed. Keith, on the other hand, says that they are very much compatible, but they have differences that they can't work out. He calls his mom for some reassurance on the day of decision day, which to me was a telltale sign. It felt like, in my notes right here, not a good sign if you're not leaning any way. If he's saying I'm unsure one way or the other, we're compatible but we have differences and blah 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 blah, to me is a flag, ding ding, red 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 flashing sign that he is really leaning towards a no, right? He isn't saying any good positive stuff about their union together like Iris, but we knew that too. Oh, like I was saying, he calls his mom because he needs some words of encouragement, and she assures him that whatever decision he makes is going to be the right decision. Come on, mom, support your sons, okay? Like, whatever you decide, son, I'm gonna back you up. I'm rolling with you till the wheels fall off. Like, ask my boys. Like, they do dumb shit, but listen, I'm your biggest cheerleader and I'm on your team, and if you say no, then that's what it is, okay? If you say yes, then that's what it is too. Now, Iris is in this car and she's still talking about how she's giving her all to this marriage and she's fully committed to this marriage. I'm all like, she's committed to the process of Married at First Sight experiment, and she's committed to a marriage itself, not necessarily their marriage, but I've been saying that for about 3 or 4 episodes now, and I'm still in that same place at this moment. Keith goes in first, Iris follows after, and I like that he got up and he greeted her. To me, that was warm, and that was actually a positive signal. Like, that's what I wrote. I'm telling you my reactions, not my reactions after, but in the moment. And I was like, oh, well, that's a good positive reaction response. You should be greeting your wife when she walks in the door. Like, don't be cold-hearted. So Pastor Kyle asks, how do you feel? You know, that's the initial question for everybody. How do you feel? Wrong song and key. So Iris, she begins to speak, and she's very articulate and she's very eloquent, but then she is speaking with nervous energy though, but kind of matter-of-factly, like, we're compatible, you guys have done a great job, we're progressing, and I hope that if we both choose yes going forward, that we will continue to build this foundation for this marriage. And I'm all like, first off, she's really uncomfortable, she's talking really fast, she's really unsure about what his answer is going to be, and she don't really want to make a fool of herself. Like, that's how she's talking. Like, you ever did something and you were afraid, like first time public speaking or something, and then you get on there and you're like, oh my God, what are they going to say? I'm just going to talk. I'm going to sound good. I'm going to sound eloquent. I'm going to have the right amount of energy. And that's what it is. That's how I feel like Iris was that's how I feel Iris was presenting herself. Here's Keith. Iris is a great woman. She's amazing. She's compassionate. Intimacy is a little tricky, and so we had to try a different approach. I don't know. We were saying that whole intimacy thing, I was saying, was a no-go. Okay, he keep bringing that shit back up. If you keep bringing it up and bringing it up and bringing it up, it becomes a problem. Dr. Viviana looks visibly uncomfortable about the conversation, especially when it comes to intimacy, because so does Iris, because Iris realizes that, yeah, it is a huge issue for him. But he says he learned from it. I learned something about myself from this process. Okay, what, that you horny? Pastor Cal, I love Pastor Cal. What did he ask him? Are you sexually frustrated? Let's cut the bullshit. Let's get right down to the chase. He is such a black man. Are you sexually frustrated? You seen him lead in. Pastor Cal is nosy as hell. He wanted to know. We wanted to know. And Keith gave us some old bullshit answer like, no, I'm not sexually frustrated, but it is a concern. Nigga, if you don't say I'm frustrated sexually, I am over this shit. Over me and Palmella going to the bathroom, taking a shower. Did I say it was an obstacle? I think I did. Nonetheless, I wrote down that he really needed to open up right here in this moment. Was a good time to open it up. Iris, here she is again, holding on to her crutch, her virginity. Saying how pretty much it's a badge of honor. I was saving it to give to my husband. You know, womp, womp, womp. The same story we've been hearing. And I think at this particular point, we can see that she is feeling a little more apprehensive listening to what he said. Remember, last episode, she said that she would be devastated if they got a divorce because of sexual intimacy or lack thereof. So, Pastor Cal said, do you like her? Are you attracted to her? Like, when he said that, it all came flooding in. Like, he was like, I know you cool and you got a persona and you got all this charisma, but are you attracted to her? That's the key. That's what was missing, y'all. We didn't catch that shit. At least I didn't. Let me own that. I didn't catch it. He was not doting on her, because he looked at her in her eyes and said, I am 100% attracted to you. And that made her feel all girlish and girly. He should have been flowering her with compliments and telling her how much he was attracted to her. That's the thing, because if you think about it for yourself, when you get ready to give it up to somebody, it's because you know that they are attracted to you. They make you feel wanted. And because he is kind of cool, aloof is the right word, she probably couldn't read it and probably couldn't be comfortable her own self. That's the thing, y'all. That's the thing. Am I the only one that missed that? Or am I making this up? Y'all let me know down below in the comments. I do have in my notes here, though I said all that quite possibly he did not share with her how he felt with her, that he thought she was attractive, that she was sexy, that she was beautiful, that he loved her long legs and her beautiful thin body, or whatever the fuck, her caramel complected skin, because she's so closed off sexually. He didn't want to intrude or even make her feel more uncomfortable than she already was. So it's a thing. Y'all tell me down below in the comments. Look, I'm looking at my notes and going by memory. It is time to make a decision. Do you want to stay together, or do you want to get a divorce? Iris? Crack me up. Iris Iris again, I wrote down, she's very articulate but does not know how to express herself. She continues to say the same thing that she's been saying, that they were compatible, that she was in the process, that she gave her all, that she's in the long haul, that she was committed 100%. And all the experts are nodding and shit at her, like, very like, okay, this is good, this is good. And she says yes. We knew that Iris would say yes. She's been telling us from day one that she said yes. I done told y'all that twice already now. So here's Keith. Keith, do you want to stay married or do you want to get a divorce? He was like, she was very supportive and she challenged him and pushed him in ways that he did not know that he could be pushed. You know, that whole 8 weeks with no sex. That's challenging. I mean, you really want someone who's going to challenge you. Honestly, you do. You really want someone, we saw that in Amber and Matt's relationship. You really want someone who is going to challenge you with your shit. Like, make you a better person or help you develop into the person that you still see yourself becoming. You could see him get scared and nervous and uncomfortable. And I was like, dun, 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 dun. You knew immediately then. The whole room knew. The experts knew. Fuck, Iris knew. Honey, we individually have our differences. Well, of course you do. Of course you do. You're a sex god. She's not. She's, you know, but you could turn her into one. Like, you just didn't know how. His answer was no. All that to say, the nigga's answer was no. When I say that room got shocked, appalled, I even felt for Iris at that moment. She held it together for a little bit there though, y'all. Like, I was like, see, that's part of the problem. You're so poised. Honey, sometimes you just gotta let it go. Let it go. Let them fucking tears flow so that he really sees. Like, he didn't see none of this. He didn't see that your true fear was that he would not want you. You should have opened that shit up because he didn't know anything about you emotionally. And I know as women, we cry. I cry when I'm happy, when I'm sad, when I'm watching a movie, when I'm angry. I cry. So she was very poised and handled herself really well. I'm proud of her for that. But we saw that shit coming. I felt like at this particular moment, the experts were showing more emotion than she was. She was really tightly wound. Like, she was supposed to let it go. Like, I'm not always poised and together. Like, I have fucking breakdowns because, listen, being together all the time is hard. And that's what your husband is for. You should be able to come in through your doors, take off all the layers of being the strong black woman that we are. Like, it is one of the hardest things to do. The black woman is underappreciated and disrespected out beyond anybody else. I don't care what nobody says. So when we come into this door, when we cross our threshold, baby, we should be able to just relax. Listen, I'm having a breakdown. We should be able to take off our masks and be these vulnerable, sensitive, loving creatures for our families. Like, y'all, it's important, and I'm crying because it's part of my story. Like, you need to be able to shed that. And she's back. She went on to say something like, I don't know what you mean by differences or different ways. He still did not open up enough for me. He said that relationship experience plays a huge role in her experience. Instead of just saying she lacked the maturity, that she was uncomfortable talking about things that he needed and that he wanted, that she was not emotionally connected. Yes, we have chemistry. Yes, we're compatible, but she's not in the same place that I am as it relates to maturity when it comes to emotions. Like The Secret with the fucking quarters, okay? I want them to talk about that next week. I sure hope they say, okay, what was up with that? Like, and just talking about it, you weren't mature enough. I really was hoping that he would just say something other than she lacks relationship experience. And she was, let me tell you something. The reason she was totally confused was because he wasn't honest through the process. He didn't open up. He didn't communicate effectively. He was the quiet one passing judgment on her in the back of his mind. I mean, we don't see them the whole time, but baby, I'm sure that's what it was. he didn't know how to communicate his desires, his needs, and to explain to her, I need you to be more vulnerable. I need you to be more, not vulnerable, yeah, vulnerable, but emotionally mature. I need you to be comfortable with me. And I know we've only known each other 8 weeks, but in order for me to make a decision to stay forever, because she's been vocalizing it 1 month till forever, till death do us part, forever from day one, she's been vocalizing that this is something that she wanted. And he should have said, in order for me to say yes, I need XYZ from you. Fellas, I know that you are not communicative creatures. However, you got to learn how to communicate your wants, needs, and desires effectively. You need to, just like we need to learn to speak your language, you need to learn to speak ours. We need you to open up and say something. You can't just think grunting and shit is gonna be enough, okay? She said that she didn't believe that the number of relationships that she had would determine whether or not she'd be a viable wife. Pastor Cal's over there, you are a viable wife. You are. Pastor Cal, sit the fuck down. She is on paper, and she saved herself. She did exactly what the Bible would have you to do. Yes, she did. But she wasn't what he needed. He needed her to be a little more loose. And I don't think he really faulted her for being a virgin. He faulted her for not wanting to be more sexually intimate in all around, not just physically, but mentally, emotionally. So he really let her down easy by saying again that she's a great woman, but he wasn't sure if she was the one for him. Like, and he could have added 8 weeks just isn't enough time for me to determine if it's meant for us to be together. I mean, this was a very fast, expedited process, and there's so much about her that I'm unsure about, but I like these things about her. But it's 8 weeks is just not enough time for me to determine it. You can see that Pastor Cal thinks all of this is bullshit by his body language. All of us, at least me, I'm all like, well, I seen it coming. I seen it coming. I seen it coming 4 episodes ago, okay? When they did that blow to kiss dice game, kiss somewhere, blow somewhere, wherever. You know, I knew then. I was like, yeah. He was like, grow up. I knew then. Keith went on to reassure her and just to say, I have nothing negative to say about you, Iris. Nothing negative to say about you, Iris. You are a great person. You know, like he tried to reassure her that it wasn't her as a person as a whole, but there's just one little thing. The one thing I can't compromise on, that's the one thing you're missing. And I want to tell you, my little heart did have a little ping for her. Like the way she was crying, she was really devastated that he said no. And I don't know if she was devastated because she was embarrassed, because she was humiliated. And I'm just hoping that maybe the realization will hit her when she's thinking over it, you know, I'm good or I will be good, that she'll know that she might have been a little overzealous, a little too unrealistic in her expectations of the relationship between her and Keith. Y'all let me know, was that the right decision? Let me know down below in the comments. In your heart of hearts, your gut reaction, do you think that they should have just stuck it out and he should have just dealt with it? Do you think that they were compatible enough for that? I'm going to tell you, for me, based on what I saw throughout the episode, that this was a good decision, that he made the right decision to say, listen, she's great, but I'm not sure if she's great for me. I am hoping in her heart of hearts she realizes that what he's saying is true, and that maybe she needs to go back and look at her own emotional stability, security, sexual intimacy, and see if what he's saying is true. I really can't wait until next week to see how things played out between the two of them, and to see if after watching the episodes if they feel any differently. Come on, Matt and Amber. Come on, Amber. Let's get excited for Amber now. Okay, let's just go ahead. I'm gonna just go ahead and clap for Amber right now, honey. She made me a proud mama bear. Like she was my child. Like she heard everything I said. Not quite, but in the beginning, I wrote down that she said it was scary that she has to make the decision so soon. And then I wrote, goodbye, girl, so long. Like, that's really what I wrote. I also wrote that they probably would have matched Amber and Raven Had Amber not told Dr. Pepper that they were best friends and she knew him since 14, they probably should have matched them anyway. But I guess Amber probably would have been like, no, I don't want it. Where Raven would have been like, I wanted it my whole life. Let's get into it. When she was leaving and getting ready to go, that hoe said she didn't want a divorce. I said, Amber, listen, if I got to come through this TV and choke your little ass, I will. Because I can't believe that you would say, I really don't want a divorce. So were you just wanting the marriage for marriage sake? Please tell me that it's marriage for marriage sake and not Matt. But she was digmatized, wasn't she, Devontae? Amber came in first and then Matt. No greeting between the two of them. I don't know which one of them experts asked, what was the best part of your marriage? And Matt said not being alone. Like I told Matt last week, get you a fucking dog. Get you a dog. Now some dogs get really jealous, so make sure you get you a heterosexual boy dog so that he won't get jealous. Because girl dogs will get jealous of other girls, women in the house. Act like you don't know that to be true. Them bitches be mad. Amber started to talk, and all I could hear was a reality check. She started saying, you know, in the beginning, at the honeymoon, it was great, and then when we came back to reality, Matt didn't want to come home. Matt didn't want to be around me. Like, I was like, that night, last night, Raven telling you that shit fucking jarred you, shook the shit out of you. Dr. Pepper, what did she say? Well, why did you go out? Why didn't you want to stay? He said he needed to create space between the two of them. Guess he was suffocating. How you suffocating and you ain't got no job? She went on to say that she had been humiliated. That at school, some of the teachers had pulled her into a room, like gathered her into a room and said, look at what your husband is doing. They had screenshots of the messages he had between some girl and him he had met at the bar that he was trying to convince to see him. See, we didn't know nothing about that. Okay, we knew about what happened last night, the girl at the bar who he left with, who was probably the same girl he was messaging. We knew about that, but we didn't know that he had been text messaging this girl. We might as well say it now. Not only was he text messaging her, he text messaged her while they were going on the childhood down memory lane, let's get closer trip. Let me tell you, this asshole had the nerve to say to the experts, because they looking at him like, because this Dr. P asked that question and he still wasn't finished when Amber had provided this additional information. They looking like, this nigga gonna say, there was a time when I felt like we were just friends. Friends, we are not. And that he was holding out hope. Hope for what? You thought we friends and we was roommates? She called that shit when she said, why are you putting your stuff in the extra bathroom? He needed a place to stay, y'all. He was definitely transient, okay? He needed a place to stay and some money in his pocket. A warm bed and some food to eat. That's why he went on fucking Married at First Sight. I know that he was playing basketball overseas, but that's how I feel. Like, you came back home, you no longer have a contract, and you homeless. And your homeboy was like, okay, you got to figure something out. Maybe you could get matched up with somebody and you can go live with her. She had also brought up about Raven seeing him at the bar and leaving with a girl. And of course, the experts were appalled and astonished. But why, I don't know, because he was never home. Furthermore, he gave this fake ass apology and said that it wasn't you, it was me. And we still have potential. And that's the reason why I came back to it. You came back to it because you homeless. You needed a place to stay. Now you got to go back to where you were, sleeping on the floor. Now you're going to go use somebody else, go try and digmatize somebody else and have them stay at your house too. No. I hope all the women are watching, but somebody is desperate enough to take him in. Somebody is. Somebody is. He's an asshole. Not to say that he would be that way with every relationship, but this relationship is indicative of what his true character is when he doesn't like you. He's a user. It's decision time. Do you guys want to stay together or get a divorce? Straight off, Amber was like, I don't feel like you put your heart into this or any effort. You didn't give it no effort. Zero, none. You didn't even give it a shot. She said, I believe you're creative, athletic, artistic, philosophical, and for me, you're perfect on paper. You're my perfect match on paper. Let's get that right, okay? And I want you. And I want you to want me too. I want you. But I want a divorce. I was like, good, Amber, but you shouldn't even want him. You should just want a divorce. Fuck any of them emotions that he had that was flourishing through your body because he had good penis. Okay? You should have just been like, I want a divorce. Not, you could have left out the, but I want you. I can't wait to see what she has to say when we come back next week. She said to him, I was humiliated and I wish you would have walked away when you knew you didn't want me no more. When you thought that the chemistry wasn't there no more. When your heart wasn't in it. Why could you tell me so? If your heart wasn't in it, I know long ago. Y'all, I know I can't sing, but I like to sing and I can't think of what the name of that song is. And she just said, why couldn't you just walk away and not leave me hurting and broken like this? Dr. Viviana was like, I'm so glad you spoke your truth, you know, and you heard Amber say it felt good to tell him how I feel. And Pastor Cal said, good, stay that way, keep that voice. Right. You don't have to accept the bullshit that these niggas is giving you, girl. That's for all of us. We don't. You look at me. I don't deserve any of that. I deserve wow, and so does Amber, and so does you. Every good thing God has for us, we deserve it. Let's go to psychos. Let's go to toxic relationship, Jamie and Liz. When we see them in the beginning, great chemistry, great connection. Liz, before she leaves, she decides, you know what, let me do this tarot reading to help me find my center. I don't know, any of you ever had your tarot cards or had your tarot cards done? Really, you can buy them yourself, set your own intention and flip the cards. I know some of y'all probably think that's like witchcraft or voodoo, but it's not, okay? It's not. Anything done with good intentions is not witchcraft or voodoo, but that's a whole nother subject, okay? And when my podcast starts this fall, and when my live starts this fall on Sundays, the live will be on Sundays starting I think the 29th, and my podcast on Wednesdays. All the information will be around here somewhere. Shameless plug. I think we're gonna have that conversation. Anyway, I wrote down Jamie needs a manicure. I also wrote down, I did like how they gave us on each couple the good and the bad flashbacks. I didn't need to go through that because we knew what they were already. Jamie came in and then Liz. Jamie did not greet his wife, but Liz was like, hey you, how you doing? Why are you squeezing his shoulder and he not? I just find that awkward. Anyway, let's go. Dr. Pepper says to Jamie, we had a discussion about you leaving. Why do you think fleeing is useful? Liz says it hurts her feelings every time he leaves. When he leaves, he doesn't know what to do with it. And he leaves because he doesn't know what the next thing to say or do is. Now, both of their responses were very much so appropriate. Like, Jamie, I leave because I don't know what else to do. I'm at my wit's end. You yelling, I'm yelling, we're not getting nowhere. It's not healthy, so I leave. And Liz saying, when you leave, it hurts my feelings. You motherfuckers need counseling. Jamie, I don't know, I don't know what happens. I don't know where the question comes from. I don't know who asked. But what I do know is Jamie said the same thing he's been saying is, I do not love our sexual relationship. Now, when I said last week, what do you think they need to consider when making these decisions? Jamie definitely should have considered this because it is high up on his list. He said verbally out loud 1,000,000 times that he was not satisfied with their sexual relationship. She comes in and says there's other ways to be sexually intimate, and he's like, but actual sex connects us, okay? And she said he's got plain, boring, vanilla Caucasian sex. He should have asked her more. He should have tried to figure out, since it's so high on his level. But whatever, we've already talked about that. I like that he was open and honest, because he says, when she says no, it makes me feel like I'm not good enough. Like she doesn't want me. I was like, did he say that to her while the season was going? Because that was open and honest, and she looked at him and realized that really we see each other. You know what I'm saying? She's got a fear of not being wanted, and so does he. The note says they need counseling. And I mean individually, not collectively. Okay? Now it's decision time. Jamie and Beth, do you want to stay together, or do you want to get a divorce? Fucking Liz takes us around the world, and because she's all like, you motivate me to say yes. You called me some hurtful names. You said some hurtful things. Blah, 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 blah. Only to come around and say, I'd be foolish if I didn't say yes. You know, she was doing a play on words. She was just stalling it out. She was making everybody uncomfortable, including Jamie. Everybody was on pins and needles. I was too. Like, what is she gonna say? Girl, we knew you was gonna say yes, but you didn't have to do that to us. I kind of like the suspense though. It was cute. Thank you for drawing it out with your crazy ass. Then Jamie, he looked relieved. His body language, his face, the redness in his cheeks, kind of, the flushness in his cheeks kind of, you know, evened out. And it was his turn. And he got to him and hawing. But I want to say this. Their body language the entire time on the couch told us that they were going to say yes. They were not sitting straightforward, not looking at each other. They actually were angled together, looking at each other, comfortable with each other. Their body language said yes. Versus Keith's body language was very rigid, very stiff, who said no. Amber's body language was distraught and hurt, and she said no. But she glanced at him, you know what I'm saying? And I kind of wonder, hold on, let's go back. I kind of wonder if Amber had said yes, would Matt have said yes? Because he had said some shit like we were growing together and we're working, Pat, and I'm hoping for. Was he going to say yes if she said yes? Because he needed a place to stay? Let's go back to Liz and Jamie. So now that they said yes, honey, they better go get some counseling quick, fast, and in a hurry, because now, guess what? They have to go into the real world without the experts, without the cameras, and live their life. So I'm sitting here and I'm watching this and I'm saying, it's got 30 minutes left. What happens next? It was only 30 minutes to go through the decision. So the day after the decision, the day after decision day, we see Liz and Jamie outside cooking on the barbecue. They're going to cook for everybody, okay? Deanna and Greg comes out, and it's appropriate that they both are together because they both said yes, and they both explained that they said yes, and Greg was like, I'm really glad that they were committed to the process, no matter how hard it was and how toxic it was, that they are really committed and that they're going to continue and try to work forward. You know, they kind of knew that Deanna and Greg were going to be together. It was what it was. Now, I was like, here's where shit gets uncomfortable. They take us to the apartments where the couples resided together, and Keith and Iris are packing up. I'm all like, ooh, the tension. He asked her if she's good, and she said, yeah, I mean, I will be. So at least that she's being honest with herself, like, I'm not right now, but I will be. But she should have been like, look, I'm not good right now. I should have started off, I'm not good right now. My feelings are hurt, but I'm going to be fine. You can see that Keith has a heavy heart. He says that he didn't want to hurt Iris, and his heart is heavy right now in this moment. It's still in the room. It's awkward. And you can see that he feels some kind of way, that he said that he potentially broke her heart, that he did break her heart because she was crying like she was. We see Matt and Amber. One of them asked how the other one was doing, and Amber said that she was good. It's going to be hard, but she's going to be okay. And that she's going to miss him. She's going to miss his face. She's going to miss being around him. She needs a dog too. But she needs a service dog. She's going to get some therapy, and then she can get her a service dog. That way her dog can go wherever she goes, and she could always feel like somebody's with her. Maybe she's having separation anxiety from outside the womb from all her life. Y'all, that's not fair for me to say, but that's how I'm feeling. Like, this is just mind-blowing. I'm also glad to see that she sees where she went wrong in the relationship, that she should have held him more accountable, because yeah, I don't know if that was then or if that was later, but whatever. But when they go to get the pictures and she says, do you want the pictures? He says, he asks, does she want the pictures, or what are we going to do with the pictures? And she says she doesn't want them, and he takes them down and he throws them in the trash. And she says he threw them in the trash like he did our relationship. What you thought he was going to do? Hold on to them as mementos, girl? Did you really think that, Amber? You really believe the shit that he was telling you? So Amber goes out with the other couples first. She goes alone without Matt, and she is crying. And she says that they decided to get a divorce. And she went on to tell him, this is when she went on to let everybody know that he was texting someone while they were on the childhood trip. And everybody was shocked and appalled. They took old Amber over with the whole bottle of champagne. It was almost like, drink all this up. You need this. I see Deanna. I was very glad that Deanna and Liz were very supportive of her, but they knew that that their relationship wasn't shit. They asked Liz, and Liz is straight out saying, "I knew it at the resort. I knew that I didn't like the way he treated her when we were at the resort." Amber said something to the effect of she didn't know, and she wished he had told her. She didn't know that he wasn't into it. She knew. We know. Instinctually, we know. But she was holding hope alive, hoping and praying. If you're crying the first week you're back, you know that he's not in it. Iris comes out, honey, all yippee-yay, excited, looking like a breath of fresh air. You know, giving the impression that they are still together. Honey, one of them said that she still had her wedding ring on. And when they went and sat down, you know, they asked her, so what's the deal? Well, now you know what the deal was, because he would have came out with her. Common sense, deductive reasoning tells us that's how it was. I'm going to send one out, then the other. And she was like, well, ask Keith. Yeah, I mean, you know, because she said they know what my answer was. So ask Keith when he comes out. That's also a telltale sign that the answer was no. Matt comes out. Keith follows. It's stale outside. It's awkward. Matt grabs a beer. He goes to sit down. And Amber decides she's going to open up and says, I feel like you hated me. Which is just what she had told the girls 5 minutes before. My thing is, she should have just said fuck it. But I guess as women we need closure. So she really needed to hear him say, and really needed him to be an asshole towards her. And I was thinking to myself, because Iris is the one who started the catalyst or started the conversation. I was like, Iris, mind your business. Mind your business, Iris. You ain't helping none, Iris. You ain't married, Iris. Mind your business, because you got some shit that happened in your own marriage, Iris. Mind your business. Anyway, it says, I feel like you hated me the whole time. All I could think of, please stand up. Will the real Matt please stand up? Please stand up. Like, I really kept saying that here in my notes. We knew he was an asshole. We just didn't know to what extent, but we knew he didn't like her. She was the only one, seems like, that didn't know that he didn't want to be in it. And as she was talking, he said some shit like, it's cool, I don't have nothing else to say. Like, are you mad that she said no? Or you just like, fuck this process, I'm over it because I'm homeless? And then on top of that, that chapter is closed. He better be glad that I wasn't Amber. Because whatever I had in my hand would have went flying across. Production would have been trying, and security would have been holding me back, because I would have been super volatile. That's what you ain't gonna do. You ain't gonna sit there and be disrespectful towards me like that. When she said, I deserve more. I deserve more than what you gave me, what you're telling me. That nigga said, I hope you find what you looking for. The disrespect. Deanna had to say, I feel disrespected for her. Like, let me say this. I'm feeling some kind of way. And it ain't even me you talking to. I'm feeling that shit. So Liz, being Liz, said, I just want to know, why would you date other people and it's only an 8-week process? Like, you couldn't wait 8 weeks? You couldn't just hold out and put everything in it for 8 weeks? And he was like, at one point it felt like we were just friends and I went looking for something else. That's what he said. That's what he told her. Honey, Even Jamie said, I feel like that was disrespectful to marriage. Not putting your all into something like that, child. Matt's disrespectful ass said, you know what, I already moved on. Okay, I'm over this shit. This is what he says in his confessional, okay? And gets up and says, fuck this, or whatever the hell he says, and gets on about his business and turns around and looks like, fuck y'all. Like, you been over it. You were over it after the honeymoon. You went on a free vacation. You got to sleep somewhere for free, eat somewhere for free, put a little change in your pocket. Now you got to go figure out where you're going to live, because you even got a car. As Matt walks away, Deanna decides to ask Keith. He says, so she said, so Iris told us to ask you when you came out. And he told her. He said it. She said yes, but I felt it was best that we both take a step away. Now see, the language that he used here tells you what? What does it tell you? Let me know down below in the comments. The language that he uses here says, I want her to grow more. I do care for her. We should step away from the process and then grow separately, because 8 weeks is too short of a time to get to know anybody. That's pretty much what he was saying. That's pretty much what he's been saying the whole time, in addition to her being sexually immature. Jamie asked a key question. Is there hope for the future? Keith said, I don't know what the future holds. I couldn't count it out. And Iris over there does her little, you know, smirk, her little smile that she does, like, oh, like a sigh of relief, like, and then says, if he gets it together and he comes back and he asks, I would totally go back. But he ain't the one that got to get it together. Y'all both need to get it together. He needs to tell you what his real issue is, and you need to understand it and fix it. Not fucking, but just have some more sexual connection and chemistry with him. Be more hands-on. Be more vocal. So Iris asks, does anybody have any regrets? Jamie says, nope, it was a learning experience and he would do it all over again. He is just as crazy as fucking Liz, so very eccentric, but not. You know what I'm saying? They're the same but different. I said that before. Liz says that they grew stronger together. Greg said he was a man. Greg said he's a man of faith, and so he has no regrets. He had made the decision and put it in God's hands when he said that he would sign up, and they told him they had a match for him. He knew then that he would not have any regrets. Keith said it was not a terrible experience, and that he knows that him and Iris will have some sort of relationship going forward. Relationship could be friendship, any kind of ship. Homeboys, homegirls, you know, maybe when she ready to give it up, maybe she'll be the one that, maybe he'll be the one she give it to before they get married, because they were once married. I don't know. I'm just saying. Y'all tell me what you think about this episode in its entirety. Do you think these couples made the right decision? One more time, my opinion. Deanna and Greg, yes. That they did make the right decision. Keith and Iris did make the right decision. And Matt and Amber definitely made the right decision. And Liz and Jamie, I feel like they did not make the right decision. So, 2 out of the 4 couples stayed together, okay? Next episode, we're gonna see the, what do we call it? The reunion episode. There's some things there that they gave us a glimpse of. You see Deanna is fat already. It's 2 months after the airing, or 2 months after is what I think they said. And she's already pregnant. So she must have gotten pregnant while the show was airing, because she looks a little round. They're alluding to Keith and Iris being back together. They're alluding to Jamie and Liz separating, having a big fight. Matt and Amber, I don't know what the hell's going on, but I need all of the deets. So we got 1 more week next week. You guys, I so appreciate you guys hanging in here with me. We are now going into Love and Marriage Huntsville, okay? Saturday, it's going to be uploaded. Number 1. Number 2 is going to be uploaded on Sunday, okay? I'm going to try and be good with that. I am your girl, Talisa Rae. Thank you so much for watching my review of Married at First Sight, Season 9, Episode 14, Forever Decision. If it's your first time visiting my channel, click that subscribe button, become a ray of sunshine, and the notification bell, because you want to be alerted when I upload a new video. Yes, you do. Lastly, find something else that I'm doing that you like. Come back, because I'm going to miss y'all when y'all not here. I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm going to miss you. I'm going to miss talking to y'all. We got 1 more episode of this, but we got a full-on Huntsville, right? Hugs and kisses and lots of love. I'll catch you on the next video.